The Noel by Frank Sinatra for Christmas. Played that today. Today is December 12th. It is also my daughter Noel's 14th birthday. Frank Sinatra's birthday is also December 12th. So I figured he sang a version of the first Noel, and my Noel birthday is today, and so is Frank Sinatra's birthday. So a Christmas song, and it's Christmas fever, and here we are in Dylan Knows, episode 380, Disney Explodes. Welcome. Hopefully, I already can see that there's looks like some connectivity. I start the unstable connections right now, so hopefully it won't be too bad. So let's go down and see what's going on. This episode of Dylan Knows. It says my daughter's birthday was today, so we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about the major portion of today's episode is going to be about they had their stockholders meeting or whatever, where they revealed all their new plans for the new year and upcoming, mostly focused on Marvel and Star Wars. So there are some Disney stuff put in there as well. So a lot of dropped on us in one day, similar to what DC did back when they did their DC event back in the summer. Marvel finally got to do theirs, and there's a lot of big stuff. So I'm going to divide it up in half. I've got a whole page of Marvel stuff here. I've got a whole page of Star Wars and Disney stuff here. So we'll divide that up a little bit because there's a lot to cover. Then some other stuff going on in the world as well. Some major deaths this week. A vaccine is now ready. Champagne. Mall Santas, 80-year-old woman does something crazy, some anniversaries, some good, some not so good. What else is going on? Humpback Whales, Ellen DeGeneres, Brian K. Vaughan, Army Navy, Dunkaroos, Mini Wheats. Netflix has got a bunch of stuff to talk about this week as well. Dragon fossils, been 2 separate dragon sort of fossils that have been found. Animation, Zorro, Nicolas Cage is going to be relevant again soon. Some personal stuff that happened to me today. What else we got? College football, a lot of college football stuff. Valentine's Day, I think I mentioned that as well. The Zodiac Killer makes a reappearance here on the show. And one of my favorite stories of the week is a woman in the middle of selling her house woke up to find that her house was now worth a shit ton more money. And I'll explain what that all means in a second. Sabrina, I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. I guess that falls under the Netflix. The fallout from the HBO Max Warner Brothers stuff is still being felt now. Brookio Oreos, we do hear what that is. Snow in the forecast. Time names their people of the year. And it's pretty much who you probably think it is, but we'll talk about that in a second. Whales. And, but as I said, the majority of stuff, Mountain Dew. But the majority of stuff is going to be about Disney's Drop This Way, some E.T. hunts. So we got some good, interesting stuff going on. A lot of personal stuff as well this week. We'll start with the personal stuff real quick. First thing, I've been getting Christmas since Christmas is now 13 days away. So less than 2 weeks away till Christmas. So literally next Saturday is the last Saturday before Christmas, believe it or not. So that's just insane to think about. But so we've been getting gifts ready for the kids, and now with COVID and the fact that a lot of shops are not really selling stuff anymore, available things or things that they are interested in, we can't find around here because there aren't specific stores that sell that stuff. Plus, they're not open anyway because of COVID stuff. Even if there were stuff like that, they might be out of business, stuff like that. There's some around here, but they don't have the stuff that we're looking for. So Amazon is the best place to go. You type in something and they'll search through their multiple item they have and they'll find something. And so we've been doing that with the kids. And I found some stuff for my wife as well. And found some stuff for me. I have a list that I've shared with my wife so she can get stuff that I want for Christmas, stuff like that. Anyway, we found the perfect shirt for my daughter Noelle for Christmas. It's a little hard, when her birthday is 13 days before Christmas, and 14 days before. I'm sorry, 13, 12 days before Christmas Eve. But we made it work for 14 years now. She just turned 14 today. But anyway, regardless, so I got her ordered this great T-shirt. She's a big anime fan and she likes to draw. She likes to sketch. So it's a anime T-shirt that says "Just a girl who loves watching anime and sketching," and it's got like an anime drawing of a girl sketching. And it's beautiful. It's a great T-shirt for her. So I ordered that way back on like right after Thanksgiving, something like that. Got them December 1st, but I haven't looked at it since then because I know what it is. So I'll wait till when I get ready to wrap presents in about a week or so, and I'll open it up and we'll do stuff. So today, because of her birthday, we order stuff for her birthday and Christmas. So I had to go upstairs, and we've already separated. So I had to figure out which bags had the stuff that we're going to give to her for her birthday and stuff we have for Christmas. Well, the one shirt, the anime sketching shirt, I opened the bag up, and there's no anime sketching shirt inside. Instead, it's a large T-shirt that has a giant snowflake on it. It's nice looking, but it's not what I wanted. So I was like, great. So I went to Amazon, found the order that I had for it, and there's a button for returns. So clicked on the button and then scanned down, and I said, T-shirt is the wrong T-shirt. And so they said is non-returnable refund is what they're going to do. So basically they say you don't need to return the shirt. You can keep it basically, and we'll refund you the cost of the shirt to your account. So they refund money I used for the account to pay for it. I have a new shirt that has snowflake on it, which I still might give to my daughter. And then I said, I'll give it one more try. So I found the same shirt again, reordered it. It's supposed to be due now the 23rd of December. So it's just like, oh my God, it's so close. And if this screws up, then she's not going to get it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to change. But the fact that it went over fairly smoothly with, non-returnable refund, I have a brand new shirt I can have. So that's good at my order for my daughter. But I guess that's happened to me once or twice before, and we've gotten it taken care of. So hopefully that will be fine, and we won't worry about that anymore. Don't know what I wrote there. The bad thing that happened to me is, so we had to go pick up something for my daughter for her birthday for my son to give her. So my son and I went out to get her something, and we ended up going to Target. Went to Target, bought our stuff, and then as we leave, we come out of Target's parking lot, we go down this hill, at the bottom of the hill's a light, and then we turn onto Reisterstown Road and head back up. So I just missed the green light. So on the first car at the red light, and I see a bunch of kids, teenagers at the foot. And I was like, oh God, they're going to ask for money, because I saw them asking for money earlier. And I was like, I hate when people ask for money. So it's fun, but it's something that you just got to tell them, no, not interested, thank you, move along. So the guy, this older teenage kid, probably about 18, 17 years old, whatever, comes over and is like pointing, is like, shaking and give money. I was like, no, I'm not interested. I didn't have my window because I really didn't want to talk to him, converse with him. It's a nice day, but I didn't want to open the window and converse with him. I just said, no, he should get it. It's like, no, thank you. And I said loud enough that he could hear me. I'm not interested. And he kept shaking. He's like, no, get some more. No, get some more. No, I'm not interested. He did like 3 times. So now, and he kept shaking at the window. Now the light isn't going to be changing anytime soon. So I just rolled down the window and said, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Thank you very much. And he goes something along the lines of, God bless you and kiss my ass. And he's walking away from me when he says it. So I pause for a second and I yell out, what did you say to me? And I said, kiss. He said, I said, kiss my ass. And I said, well, fuck you, asshole. And then he said something about my mother, I think. And so I rolled up the window and I was seething with anger then. So I'm watching in the rear view and stuff like that. They're going along, and there's like 3 of them. They're going to all these cars. Now this asshole kid comes to the car next to me now in the middle of the road, because on the end there's the one in the middle. And he's in there, and the light turns green, and he's still out there talking to this person. So as I'm driving away, I honk my horn really loud, so hopefully that fucked him up. But that fucking pissed me off, just the total, asshole move of saying, kiss my ass. Look, if you're, first of all, I don't carry cash or change on my person. So I don't have anything to give you. I'm sure as hell not going to give you a credit card number or anything of that bullshit. And actually, I wrote when I got home, I was seething. I went home and on Facebook, I'm on a Reisterstown, Maryland page, and I wrote a diatribe about what was going on. And people commented. They said, "Yeah, same people were talking to me earlier, and I told my different money. Said, well, you can give me a card thing or whatever." And they're like, "No, I'm not going to do that." And then they started cursing at them. So, and another thing is one of the guys said it looked like they were saying something for the Catonsville Comets, which I think is like a football or basketball rec league team. And they're like, what are they doing in Reisterstown? Catonsville is like literally like 20 minutes down the road. It's not even, it's Reisterstown. Catonsville is where Catonsville is. To get to Reisterstown, you have to, you're from Catonsville, you go on to 695. You travel on 695 for about 10 minutes. If traffic is light, then you got to go on 795 for 10 more minutes, and you get on Reisterstown Road and head down to Target, which is about another minute. So it's about a 30-minute hike from Catonsville looking for money. Now, I guess you could say it, but there's plenty of places in Catonsville and the surrounding area you could ask for money for the Catonsville Comets. Plus, I don't even know if there's any rec league stuff going on or whatever. So a lot of people are thinking it's a scam to try to steal money. The fact that they told me to kiss my ass makes me believe that even more, because if someone is asking for money, and we have that happen. We have the volunteer fire people, and we have panhandlers and stuff like that. Panhandlers who come to the window, and I say, I'm not interested, I don't have any money. They just keep walking. They don't get there, and they don't say, kiss my ass. They might be saying it to themselves, but they don't say it out loud. And there's this one guy near my work who's a panhandler who every time he passes by, I say, I don't have any money. I can't give you any. He gives me a big smile and waves, says, thank you anyway. He's very polite. He's very nice. He might be seething inside, but if you are asking for money and you want somebody to give you money, saying kiss my ass is not helpful. So I was so mad. I wanted to get out of that fucking car and I wanted to get in his fucking face. But I said, my son was in the car with me. It's dangerous. Anything could happen. There were 3 of them. And I didn't know what to do. So I just said, no, hell with it. And so I told him to go fuck himself and honked my horn when I left. So hopefully I'll never see them again. I don't plan on heading out to Target anytime soon, but if I do, there's various different ways I can go. If I see them down there, there's another way I can go, so I don't mess with them. So thank you very much. Today's my daughter's birthday. It's also my former co-host MJ Khan's birthday. We used to do the comic book show together. Now in this new form of video chat that I'm doing now for this show that you're doing, I can no longer have guests on here, which kind of sucks, because I would, kind of like to have, talk to somebody, people like that. And that would also help my views on that matter. Plus, I haven't posted my stuff on Facebook and Twitter in a while because, I have had to break it up into multiple episodes, which pisses me off more. Anyway, so today's was MJ's birthday. It's also my daughter's birthday. She had a scout hike today. They were originally going to go to Mount Vernon for a 10-mile hike down there in Virginia. But people were worried about COVID and the metro. So they found another area out by BWI, which is our airport. There's actually a hiking area as well. So in a park and stuff like that. So they ended up going to BWI out Glenbury, which is definitely not as far as Virginia is from here. But so that was good. So when she got home, I didn't think they were going to come back till like 7. And I guess I thought that maybe they were going to do other stuff after their hike. And then I started thinking about it. It's like, well, Mount Vernon is like an hour and some away. But if you finish, if you leave at 7:30, you get down there, say at like 9 o'clock, and then you hike, and then you're done by like 2 o'clock, and an hour and a half, you'd be back by 3:30, but largely 7, because I think they would have stopped and they would have gone into Mount Vernon and done some stuff as well. But I didn't really think much about it when they said they're going to do this Glen Burnie thing. I thought they were still going to be doing something anyway. So I planned my day around that. But then they showed up back home about 3:30. So I had told them originally, why don't we just get Chinese, even though it's my daughter's birthday, and so we're going to give her big birthday meal tomorrow. Turned out that's what we end up doing anyway. She agreed to that. So we're going to do her big meal tomorrow. And then we had our Chinese food, and then we gave her presents. She got her Baby Yoda doll that she loves. She got a big giant blanket hoodie, which is huge. She got that from her aunt. We also got her some books, another Sims 4 expansion pack. She likes The Sims 4. We got her a Hamilton hoodie and some T-shirts, a Sims T-shirt and stuff, and some jeans, stuff like that. And the big present we got for her is, I think, AGR, and NGR, I think, is her favorite band now. Let me see if I can find them. No, I don't want to print a private tab. Let's just see. It's AJR, I think it's AJR. Yeah, it's AJR. AJR is a band. I think she did play that music before. They will be doing a live sort of concert on December 26th. And so Dawn was able to get Noelle tickets to it, and she gets a free T-shirt and stuff like that. It's like a whole virtual thing as well. And that was her favorite gift. That was her favorite gift, and as was her Baby Yoda. She was tearing up when she saw the Baby Yoda doll, which is great. Now, unbeknownst to her, I'm also going to be getting her one of the Build-A-Bear Baby Yodas, so she doesn't know that yet. Plus, I found a Baby Yoda hoodie I'm going to give her for Christmas as well. So she can get plenty of Baby Yoda stuff, which is good. It's what she wanted anyway. So I think she had a good time. She said a good time. They're upstairs right now actually watching My Hero Academia, the first movie, not the second one. We haven't gotten the second one yet. That's another Christmas present we're going to get for them also. So they're watching that. Noah's asleep, but it's her birthday, so she gets to stay up a little later. I mean, she's 14 years old now. Tomorrow, her grandmother, I think, is coming over. And maybe her grandfather, I'm not sure. And we're just going to have a little visit and decorate the tree and stuff like that. Ravens don't play on Monday. So got some stuff we can do. So get the tree done, get some groceries for her meal, and maybe watch a movie with her, stuff like that. So we got some plans for her. So I think she's going to have a good time. So that's going on with that. Speaking of football, UNLV, the quarterback apologizes for eating sushi off of the naked model on a reality TV show. And everybody who saw this article is like, why did you apologize? It's not a big deal, you know? I mean, I guess, it's not appropriate, I guess, for a college quarterback to do that on a reality TV show. But in the end, he's still an old enough kid to do whatever he wants. He's older than 18 years old, so he's his own old adult. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. I don't think that eating sushi off a nude model is going to wreck the UNLV anything about that. I mean, they're fucking in Las Vegas, so that's where they're headquartered. So, just a weird little thing about that. George Clooney's Netflix movie coming out December 23rd, actually. The Midnight Sun released a new trailer. It still looks really, really good. The first trailer came out a couple weeks ago. I talked about it a little bit. The new trailer fleshes out the story a little bit more and gets the viewpoint from outer space people, because apparently there's two stories concurrently going on. One is there is a massive climate disaster on the Earth, and George Clooney's character, along with a young girl, I don't know if it's his granddaughter or just some random girl that survived the climate stuff, and he's taking care of her, are working at like a space telescope, and they're trying to get in contact with an outer spaceship that's coming back from a journey that's taken them to try to find a new planet to live on. And they can't get in contact with it, but he knows of another radio telescope that's a little bit further down the lane in Alaska, or the Arctic, in the middle of these giant snowstorm, that he needs to get in contact with the spaceship to tell them what's going on the planet and not to land or whatever. And so he and this girl go on this hard trek in the ice and snow, with animals, stuff like that, brutal cold, in order to get from one telescope to another. So that's the one main story. That was the majority of the stuff we saw in the first trailer. Now the second one shows a little bit more of that, but it also concurrently flips it and shows that they're also going to be getting the viewpoint from the people in space who are coming back from a journey to other planets to see if there's a planet that people could live on. And now they're coming back and they can't contact Earth for whatever reason. I think they start getting hit by things, some of the the ice stuff like that starts affecting them as they're getting closer to the Earth. They don't know what's going on. So it looks good. It looks like one of those Netflix has been knocking out of the park the last 2 years. Last year had a whole bunch of movies I wanted to see on Netflix. Saw some, but not all of them. I plan on doing the same thing with these. I'd like to see this one and a few others as well. But it looks good. So if you get a second, check out the Midnight Sun. New trailer just came out this week. So look for, I guess, YouTube or whatever, type in Midnight Sun trailer, or go to Facebook, Twitter. You might find it there. But if you go to look for ones that was like uploaded in a few days or a week, months ago. So that's good. Speaking, I talked about UNLV, QB, Vanderbilt. Remember a couple weeks ago, I told you that they had the first ever female kicker come out. They were hit hard with COVID, so they needed a kicker. So they found one on the girls' soccer team. They're not playing, so they hired her to be their kicker, and she had her first kick ever of a female in a college, Big Five college game, and today, she made her first point ever. It was a point after attempt, which she made perfectly, went right down the middle. So she became the first woman to score a point in an NFL or a college football game. That's good. Army Navy, the long-standing rivalry football game is usually this weekend and usually on Noel's birthday. Navy had been dominating for years, but not this time. Navy's lost the last three. I think they've lost two of them, including today's. They lost weird score, 15-0. Army is 8-2 and Navy's 3-7. So it looked like Army was going to beat them anyway. Yeah, so Army wins this one 15-0. I think there's a safety involved in that because it was 10-0 at one point, and then it was 12-0, and then it was 15-0 because it was an extra field goal. So Army Navy, I didn't watch it this year because of reasons, but usually we do watch it because usually Noel would have a family party over at our house and we'd have the game on so people could watch it while everyone else is milling about and talking. So we watched it. It is one of the biggest rivalries in the world, and it's always a fun one to watch. I go for Navy because it's Maryland, and also I have family that's been in Navy, so that's fantastic. So we have that as well. I feel like there's another college football thing I can talk about, but I can't remember where it is. So I'll talk about it later if I can find it. I'm sure I'll be able to find it. So that's some more college football news. Let's see. Netflix has been doing a updated version of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which is an Archie character, and Archie's been doing this whole adult sort of revamp for a while now. Archie used to be this wholesome comic book company. They still do that one, but they did the Afterlife with Archie, which was a zombie apocalypse in the Archie world. And then they had the Archie TV show, which is very sexually charged and supernatural-esque and stuff like that. And then the Sabrina is a bit darker, supernatural thriller sort of thing. But it's a remake of the old bubbly TGIF ABC Sabrina show, which I absolutely love. Melissa Joan Hart was fantastic in that role, Sabrina, and it was fun and it was cute, and I loved watching it. And so this new Sabrina is more dark and stuff like that. So this is the final season of Sabrina. So it's coming up, I think, the end of the year. December 31st is when they're releasing the final season. And so they've been releasing some trailers and clips and stuff like that. Well, the one thing that made the rounds this week was in the original Sabrina TV show, she had two aunts. And I think in this one she does too. But in this one, and they're played by different actresses, and this clip that's been making the rounds this week, we're getting a little idea of what the story was going on with Sabrina. Apparently this season, Sabrina's getting trapped in a world where she thinks her life is a TV show, and the former Sabrina aunts are reprising their roles as Sabrina's aunts, but they're playing them as actresses. The same actresses who played Sabrina's aunts are playing Sabrina's aunts in this supernatural TV show sort of thing. So you actually get to see the original Sabrina aunt pop up in this new season of Sabrina, and are playing basically the same roles they played on the TGIF series. So I think that was kind of a little bit of a cute meta thing that came out with that. A woman. Oh yeah, this is the best story of the week that I want to tell you. Maybe I was going to hold on to this, but I'll do it right now. So a woman who in the UK who is in the middle of trying to sell her house like normal people do. Her house is being listed for £300,000, which is roughly about $400,000 in American total. It's about, a usual expected price for a house. Well, something strange happened overnight. So this woman wakes up sometime, it was like earlier this week, and just goes about her day. And she's in the middle of trying to sell her house. She goes outside to either go to the grocery store, throw out trash, do something, and she notices there is a painting on the side of her house now. She's like, okay, that's kind of odd. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of news reporters show up, start taking pictures of the painting and the woman, and we discover that the secretive, hidden artist Banksy, who no one really knows who he is, but he's a fairly prominent artist of our time. All of his paintings make a ton of money. He does experiment with stuff. He was the guy that created a painting that when somebody spent like $500,000 on it, the minute that they hung it up, it shredded itself. So it was just strands of paper. But in this case, Banksy just decided to draw a painting on the side of this woman's house. And it's on his official page, so everyone knows this is a real Banksy. So the woman who was trying to sell her house for $400,000 steps away and says, now, wait a second. This house now has an official Banksy art on it. And Banksy art is hugely popular. So now the house is listing for $3 to $5 million American. Just because an artist decided, I'm going to just paint a picture right here. And he followed up with posts on his official social media to prove that this is a real Banksy and not just some person imitating him or claiming to be Banksy or the woman trying to up her. No. And who would have thought even to put a painting like that on their house to increase sales? No one would have thought of that. So I just find that as a fascinating story, a really, really funny, fun story as this hellacious year is wrapping up. I just thought it was a really funny story. And the woman's going to get probably $3 to $5 million for this house because of that painting. And she owes Banksy big time for that. And I'm sure because he's that bar, just like, oh, fuck it. I just feel like doing it for shits and giggles. That's why he did it. Something else interesting happened this week. During my furlough earlier this year, I read 2 books about the Zodiac Killer, and I know a little bit about him, and I haven't seen the David Fincher movie yet, but I want to see it because it's based on the books I read. But I was reading the 2 books about the Zodiac Killers. One was just a pretty much straight up description of what happened and the investigation and all the stuff that's going on with that. And the second one was basically the author pretty much has a suspect because no one knows who the Zodiac is. So the writer had a specific person in mind, and so he wrote an entire book trying to prove to everybody this person, who is dead by the way, was the Zodiac Killer. So that's what that book's about. But one of the interesting things about the Zodiac Killer was during his high time in the late 60s and early 70s, he would taunt the police and the San Francisco Inquirer, I guess, or Chronicle, whatever the newspaper in San Francisco, where he would send letters and phone calls to. And some of the letters had these ciphers in them, little things. And it was a Zodiac Killer trying to prove how smart he was. Like, nobody's going to figure out. It could be my name could be in the cipher. And if you figure out the cipher, you might figure out who I am. He was like basically the Riddler. But these ciphers are really hard, really hard. Now, he had about 4 or 5 ciphers, and like 2 of them have been decoded One was decoded actually by just people who did, these types of puzzles on the side on the weekends. They just said, "Oh, let me try to figure this out." So they actually figured it out. Amateur code breakers. They figured this out on their own. And again, it was more taunting. Again, no talk about who he was and stuff like that. But there's still a bunch that haven't been decoded yet. Well, the FBI announced this week that they have decoded another one. But again, no new information. Just a reiteration of some of the same old bullshit that he was talking back in the 60s and 70s. But the fact is they were able to decode one of them. So after 50 some years, is finally able to decode one of these cases. So, that just goes to show you just keep plugging at stuff like that, and you'll be able to figure stuff out. So that was kind of an interesting thing. So 12 days of Christmas. So 12 days of Christmas. Anyway, 12 days of Christmas. And actually, there's 13 because days of 12 still. 13 days to Christmas. Tomorrow's the 12 days. Starts 12 days of Christmas. But it's never too early to start talking about more holidays. Now, everybody out there who watches the show knows I'm a big holiday guy, and who knows me personally, they know I'm a big holiday guy. Well, the next big holiday is Valentine's Day, baby. February 14th, 2021 is the next big holiday. Yes, Martin Luther King Jr. Day is a big holiday in some places, but it doesn't have the essence of a Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween sort of thing. So Valentine's Day is like the first big holiday. So let's talk a little bit about that. Kit Kat, who is one of the along with Oreos and Pop-Tarts and Mountain Dew, that tends to do multiple flavors of their popular drinks, food, whatever. Kit Kat last year, I guess, released a raspberry cream Kit Kat for Valentine's Day. Well, they've announced that shit will be coming back this year in 2021 for Valentine's Day. So we're probably still going to be in some COVID stuff, though. We'll talk about where things could be going in a few minutes when we discuss the vaccine, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So raspberry cream Kit Kats are now a thing, or have been a thing, I guess, but they just reiterated it, saying that we will be releasing them again in 2021. So weird saying 2021. Let's just talk about death. A lot of death this week. A lot of big deaths this week, actually. We're going to start with Charley Pride. And I honestly, to be honest, I don't know who this person was. But going on my Twitter and Facebook feed, people that I never expected who would even know who this person was, knew who this person was. Apparently, Charley Pride was country music's first black superstar. And he died at the age of 86 due to COVID. But the fact is, he is an icon in the world of country music, and country music fans would know who he is. I mean, there was one person on Facebook who I didn't even think listened to that type of music, immediately knew who he was and offered condolences. I mean, like really heartfelt ones, not the typical, damn rip, this. It was like, Charley Pride, we're going to miss you, so. It was really kind of, interesting, unique, but I didn't know about that. But I've been seeing a lot of people talk about Charley Pride, and I really don't know anything about him. But he was country music's first black superstar. So that means, he died at 86. That means he's probably been playing music for 60 some years. So he has a big wide ranging history. Maybe I should look that up a little bit. Carol Sutton, Steel Magnolias and Lovecraft County actress, died at the age of 76. Let's see. Death on this page. This is all the Disney stuff. Victoria Rossumou, Prophecy and Falcon Crest actress, dies at the age of 69. Falcon Crest is a show that was a soap opera sort of thing in the 1980s, and that's one of the coolest names. But Dynasty kicked its ass there all the time. Tiny Lister, who is a fairly familiar actor. You've probably seen him in a number of things. He was in Friday, and he was also in The Dark Knight. He died at the age of 62 this week, a couple days ago, actually. Richard Corbin, you probably don't have heard of this person, but if you're a comic book fan or an artist, you will know who he is. He started off his work with Heavy Metal, that magazine that does a lot of fantasy, hardcore fantasy and sci-fi sort of stuff, and became a legend doing that. So everybody knew who Richard Corbin was due to Heavy Metal, because Heavy Metal is a legendary magazine. And so Mike, who created Hellboy, asked Corbin to come on and do a number of Hellboy miniseries. So Corbin has done about 4 to 5, maybe even more Hellboy stories, which are all collected in the Hellboy trades that are out. And now you can get them, for Christmas. Would be a good gift for anybody. They have basically, there's a series of trades right now that have every Hellboy story in chronological order, which is fantastic. Because there's so many of them and the series spans so many years that it's really cool to read this stuff. So Richard Corbin did a number of those, including the fantastic Hellboy in Mexico storyline, which was fantastic. If you haven't read it, you have to read it. It would make an absolutely perfect movie. If they ever make another Hellboy movie, they should do it right. They should do Hellboy in Mexico. Basically, what happens is Hellboy disappears into Mexico for a year. And the reason why is because he went into an investigation about a town that was being besieged by vampires. And there are 2 luchador wrestlers who have been protecting this town, but even they are having trouble taking on vampires. So Hellboy comes in, guns blazing, and they take on the vampires. They almost beat them all until one kills one of the luchador wrestlers, and it makes Hellboy distraught and makes the brother distraught, and so the 2 of them go on a drinking binge in Mexico. So Hellboy is blackout drunk for a full year, disappears in Mexico for a full year. And it's been mentioned numerous times in the series leading up to this. And so Mignola got to the point, is like, you know what? I want to tell the Mexico stories, because he's like, I'm dying to tell them, and I want to tell the stories. So he contacted Corbin and he said, hey man, do you want to do the art for this? Some really cool stuff coming up. And Corbin's like, hell yeah, I'll do it. So it's a whole bunch of stuff. We'll find out that during his time in a drunken stupor, he became a wrestler. He fought demons with the other luchador who lost his brother, got married to a demon, and he doesn't remember most of the stuff that happened to him in Mexico. So it's fantastic, a great series. And Corbin also did a series about a killer Bigfoot, which was very disturbing. I'm never going to forget that, but he died at the age of 80. So Corbin had a very distinct style. Let me actually see if I can find a Richard Corbin picture for you real quick to show you, because he had a very distinct style to his artwork. And the minute you saw it, you're like, yep, that's Corbin. You knew it in a second. All right. There we go. There's images. Let's see if I can find a really good. Ooh, boobies. Yeah, he did a lot of nudity and stuff like that. Trying to find a very distinct Corbin-esque picture. That's a very distinct Corbin. Here's one of the Hellboy things he did. That's a very Corbin-esque sort of artwork. Let me see if they have the Bigfoot one, because that's Richard Corbin. No, cancel. Let me just cut that out. Let's try this. Let me see if I can just find the Richard Corbin Bigfoot, because that story freaked me out. Richard Corbin Bigfoot. Steve Niles and Rob Zombie wrote the story. That's what it was. That's right. I forgot about that. That's why it was so fucking disturbing. Here you go. Here's his Bigfoot. It's so disturbing, but it was a good series. But it was Rob Zombie, and it was what's his face? I just mentioned it. Steve Niles. That's why it was fucked up. Anyway, so Richard Corbin passed away. So that's a shame, because he was fantastic. Next page. Nope. And then last page, I have a couple. Chuck Yeager was another one. He died early in the week. Died at the age of 97. Big part of the Right Stuff, the beginning of the astronaut program. He was the first person to break the sound barrier, wrote a bunch of books, was a war hero, so on and so forth. Very respected in his field. 97 years old was a good life. And people know who you were. Natalie Desselle Reid, Medea Baps, actress, dies at the age of 53. And finally, Osamu Sakula, who starred in Seiyun Kamen Machine Man or something like that, a Japanese live action sort of action thing, passed away this week as well. So that was going on like that. Real quick, I got to do a little humble brag. My nephew finally graduated from college on Friday. He had a little bit of trouble early on with the major he originally picked, and so he was behind a bunch of classes, so he had to get caught up, so he had to do a half semester. So he is now a college graduate, so good on him. And I found the college thing, but I'm going to save that for the end of the show. So that's all your deaths this weekend. So we go to the first part of Disney news. 41 minutes in, and we're finally getting there. So, as I said, Disney held an event for their stockholders this week where they released all their new stuff they're going to be doing over the next couple of years, particularly involved with Marvel, Star Wars, and their own Disney animated stuff. So plus you get a little bit of info because they also own Hulu and FX now, a little bit of that as well. So because it was a huge dump on Thursday. It was just like just dropped everything on you at one time. So we're going to break this up a little bit. First thing we need to mention that the first thing they mentioned was they're going to have to raise the rates by $1 starting in February. It makes sense because of all the stuff that they're going to be doing that I'm going to tell you about in a second. And it's not that big of a deal, really. So it's still cheaper than Netflix and Hulu and all that. So that was the news they're going to tell you. So first, we're going to talk about all the Marvel news. So a lot of people were freaking out when DC had their fandom and released all their information. Everybody's like, has DC finally surpassed Marvel? And I was like, no, fucking just wait till they get their stuff underway. And then they get embroiled in this whole HBO Max bullshit stuff, which we'll get into a little bit later now. So it's starting to get a little bit of their sheen is starting to disappear a little bit. But Marvel, meanwhile, is coming in here is like, well, we've got this stuff going on, and we're still going to be releasing stuff in the theaters. That's the first big news that I forgot to write down. Black Widow will still be released in theaters and not on streaming. So they are not going to release it on streaming anytime soon. They're going to release it the first weekend in May like they always do. Again, the vaccine story we'll talk about in a few minutes could lead for movie theaters to get back on their feet, and this would be the perfect time for it. Now, if for whatever reason COVID is continuing to be an issue in May and things aren't as good, or the movie theaters haven't gotten the response they were expecting to people coming back, then they might reevaluate. But at this time right now, Black Widow will not be released on streaming either concurrently or just skipping theaters in general. So expect to see Black Widow in movie theaters on, I think it's May 7th, but let's find out for a positive, sure. 2021 on May 7th. Yes. So May 7th, you will be able to, as God willing, you will be able to see Black Widow finally in movie theaters, officially. Movie theaters. So I forgot about that. So there we go. So I don't have this in any particular order. So it's just the order that when I was doing my report. So the first big news is they announced that the Fantastic Four will be coming to Marvel, the MCU, and a movie to be directed by the guy who directed Spider-Man Homecoming. At this point, I forgot to write his name down, but you get the idea. So that's the big news, that the Fantastic Four movie will be coming. It, again, won't be till 2022, 2023 at the earliest, but it's coming. They've announced it officially. It is officially on the radar. It is officially on the schedule. So you will be seeing a Fantastic Four MCU movie within the next couple of years. So get excited about that. Captain Marvel 2 has also been officially announced. We knew it was coming, but now we have an official date. The date has changed due to COVID, stuff like that. Captain Marvel 2 will now be arriving November 11th, 2022. It will be directed by Nia DaCosta. I don't know much about her, but she seems really cool. Brie Larson obviously coming back as Carol. The other interesting thing is Monica Rambeau, who was young in the 1990s and the first Captain Marvel, is going to pop up in WandaVision, which we'll talk about in a second, and is going to be popping up in Captain Marvel 2 as well. And this is going to go concurrently with another announcement they made here. Miss Marvel has found their Miss Marvel for their TV series, and the actress will also be appearing in Captain Marvel 2. That'll lead us to Miss Marvel TV show has cast their Miss Marvel in Iman Vellaude, who is a Muslim or Indian looking anyway, Pakistani, whatever the role of Miss Marvel is. The actress is that race. And the people who are involved in it, the showrunners, the directors, and the writers are all Muslims and people of color as well. So it's going to be a very real, a very, this is what life is like and things. So I'm really excited now for Miss Marvel. They had some stuff done because I think they've just started shooting it. But you didn't, no costume, anything like that, but just bits of her and Iman and various roles of the character, versions of the character, talking to friends, stuff like that. You get to see her relationship with her dad and her mom, which is a big thing as well, and see her wonder, stuff like that. But it was mostly just them talking to her, telling her that she was cast, stuff like that. So that's fantastic. So that's great. Speaking of WandaVision, as I said, Monica Rambeau will make an appearance there first, since WandaVision is still scheduled to come out on January 15th. So that will be rolling out within a year, actually, not a year, a month. So about a month from now, we'll be getting some new MCU content, which is fantastic. The new trailer comes out, builds up this rolling out there, and it seems very interesting. Still seems really odd and weird, but that's really, really cool, and I cannot wait to see it. So when all this Marvel stuff before COVID happened, when all the Marvel shows were getting introduced and stuff like that, WandaVision was actually not supposed to be the first show. It was supposed to be the third show, I think. Second or third. I think Loki, I think, depended upon, but the first one was always going to be Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was always going to be the first new MCU TV show on Disney Plus. COVID hits, and because of their country spanning story arcs, stuff like that, they weren't able to film for long periods of time. Whereas WandaVision was able to film because it's self-contained on a general one area. So they were able to get finished before Winter Soldier and the Falcon. So WandaVision will be premiering, as I said, on January 15th. Watch the new trailer. It just came out. Watch both of them, really, because they're both fantastic. But Falcon and the Winter Soldier got their first trailer for their show and a release date, March 19th, 2 days after St. Patrick's Day. So that's 2 months after WandaVision, so you would assume then that WandaVision's on the 15th. That's like 4, it's like 7. It's about, so by the time WandaVision's over, Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to start. So you figure that's probably what's going to happen. So Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to end, and then the next one, and we'll talk about that in a second. So we have the first trailer for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. March 19th is when it's coming out. Looks exactly how you expect it to look. A buddy action film. You don't get really any shot of Baron Zemo in this one, or Sharon Carter, but lots of Sebastian Stan's short-haired Bucky, which I know my friend Gary likes the long-haired one version better. I like the short-haired version. And the Falcon there as well. And we get their bromance and their little badinage to each other, stuff like that. You get a little bit of a bunch of action sequences to show that this is going to be an action-filled storyline, and you get one quick view of U.S. Agent, who is going to be a role in there. Which I'll tell you the history of U.S. Agent eventually, but not today. When the show comes out, if you have any questions, I'll talk a little bit about that as well. But you get the MCU humor, the action, and it looks glorious. It looks like a film. The trailers for that, WandaVision, all like films. So if that's how it's going to vision, all like films. So if that's how it's going to work, so WandaVision is going to be first, and then a few months later, after it's done its run, they're going to throw Falcon and Winter Soldier in. Once it's done its run, let's just say 2 months also, March, April, May. We're looking around May, June for potential Loki to be here, because the first Loki trailer popped this week as well, which is another really, what the frig are we watching? We discovered that we're going to be following the Loki who escaped at the end of Endgame, or not in the middle of Endgame, I should say. And he ends up in a place called the TVA, which I believe is a time variation. And basically, I think he's going to be basically a time cop. He's going to be forced to work for the TVA because of all the stuff that he's been doing to try to fix these multiverses and stuff going on, because you get to see all kinds of him dealing with all kinds of weird stuff. And you get to see him as DB Cooper and a whole bunch of other stuff going on. And then you get to see him running for president in 2016, which is going to be freaking hilarious. And you get a good shot of Owen Wilson. Looks like that he's playing it fairly serious. He's got a little bit of jokiness in him, but not the outlandish Owen Wilson. Just saying, he seems to be a bit more subdued, but it's him. He's got that distinct voice and drawl. It's him. He's just got a beard, so you really don't see him that much. You don't see Owen Wilson too, but he's an older version of Owen Wilson, but it looks good. That looks interesting. There appears to be some Mongolian aspects to it as well, which would be really, really cool. And again, looks amazing, looks different than what you're expecting to see. So we're probably looking to that to probably in the summer, early summer, May, June period, more than likely, because I believe Loki would be the next one to come out, because they were the original 3 that were supposed to come out last year. Or I should say this year. It feels like last year. But guess what? We have another series that was, and maybe this one will be popped in as well, but another series was announced when Disney Plus first came into fruition, and we get the first trailer for the What If animated series. So we actually get to see the first bits of some of the stories. Each episode of What If will be a separate story. The only ones I can remember really seeing are Marvel Zombie one, Sharon Carter's Captain America. It looks like there's going to be one where T'Challa as a child is the one who gets abducted by Yondu and his crew. So we're going to have Black Panther in space. I have to rewatch the trailer, because there's something I think maybe like Rhodey as Iron Man. Was the one that created the Iron Man armor, not Tony. But it has the Watcher in it, so it is definitely a what if thing, and it's animated, and a lot of the actors who portrayed those roles are going to be playing the voices of these characters, so it should be good. It looks good. The animation looks interesting. So we're going to probably expect that in 2021 as well, along with Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and WandaVision, as well as all the other movies. As I mentioned, Black Widow was said that they will be in movie theaters. Shang-Chi's cast was finally shown. People knew the names, the action actors who were going to play them, but now they get an idea of who. So we get to see them. So that's good. Shang-Chi is due to come out on July 9th, 2021, which is a very good date, right after 4th of July. And again, it's in the summer, so we're expecting COVID to be gone, or at least manageable enough that people will decide to go to the movies. So then Hawkeye, last week I told you the news about Haley Steinfeld playing Kate Bishop. Well, they revealed more about her character in this Disney thing, showing more clips and behind-the-scenes pictures, including her and her full costume, comic accurate Hawkeye. And also talking a little bit about Hawkeye's deafness, which is a character trait that they really haven't examined in the movie so far, but now they will. It also shows some of the stuff that some of the pictures we've seen and scenes we've seen are taken directly from Matt Fraction's run on it. So it looks like they're going to be doing a basic adaptation of Matt Fraction's run on Hawkeye. So go out there and get those trade paperbacks if you want to see what's going to be going on in the Hawkeye show. Kate Bishop, Haley Steinfeld looks fantastic. She's got the purple black comic accurate costume, looks amazing on her and amazing in general. And the fact that, no matter what you might think about Jeremy Renner as a person himself, he's going to be having a blast doing this film, and he's finally going to get a chance to, be somebody important. He's popped up periodically, and he's had some important bits to do in the Avengers movies and in Captain America Civil War, but in the end, he really has been more of a cipher. This is probably really going to flesh out his character a bit more and should be really good. Also, because the big news had already popped already, so they just wanted to show more pictures, and particularly with Kate Bishop in her costume. But the other big news that came out about this is one of the villains in the series is going to be Echo, who was a Daredevil villain who was created by Brian Michael Bendis when he was doing his run. Daredevil is blind and uses sonar to make his way around. Echo is deaf. So it was a blind taking on the deaf storyline when Bendis had a 6-part Hush storyline, I think, that he did with that. Well, Hush will be making an appearance in the Hawkeye series. And to prove that Disney is going all out and trying to do everything right, they have hired a deaf Native American actress by the name of Aqua Cox to play Echo. So she will actually literally be deaf and literally be a Native American, who this Echo character was in the comics. So again, a very comic accurate character. Fantastic. Love that. But wait, we have more. I don't know where I should go because we got so much going on. So let's go back to some more series that have been announced. So how about some of the ones that we know about? Here's one that's going to blow your mind again. She-Hulk. I talked about this. Most people believe that she got the role. So they said, okay, Haley Steinfeld would be playing Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye show. So I was taking that piece. So when a week before, when Jeremy Renner showed his makeup stuff, and they said, okay, so Hawkeye's going to be filmed, with Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, and Haley Steinfeld's like, no, I'm not playing Kate Bishop. I auditioned for the role, but I'm not playing Kate. And it was like, what? We thought it was a given that you were playing. No, I'm not playing it yet. So it's like, okay, so we don't know who's going to play it. And then we get the first behind-the-scenes pictures of Kate Bishop. It's Haley Steinfeld. So for some reason, Marvel's up to, why don't you lie about you're being cast? So I postulated that reminds me of the story about Tatiana Maslany, who I broke the story about a month or so ago when she supposedly was cast as She-Hulk in the She-Hulk series. Mark Ruffalo went so far to say, tweeted to her on her Twitter, hey, welcome to the family, cousin. It'll be great working with you, stuff like that. And again, all of a sudden there's the article that came out that Tatiana Maslany is like, I'm not playing She-Hulk. I auditioned for it, but I'm not playing it. So people are like, what the fuck is going on? So they're losing their mind about that. So I postulated last week that Tatiana Maslany will be playing She-Hulk. And I believe it is a Haley Steinfeld thing because we all knew Haley Steinfeld was playing Kate Bishop, even though she said she wasn't. Turned out she was. Guess what? When they came to She-Hulk, they announced Tatiana Maslany playing She-Hulk. So why the fuck don't you just say, yes, I'm playing She-Hulk? We know you are. What's the big fucking deal if you say you're not? It doesn't make any sense. But, we knew, so the news that came out of this, we knew Tatiana Maslany was going to play She-Hulk because she's the absolute perfect choice to play her. We knew Mark Ruffalo was going to make an appearance in the show because he's her cousin and he's the impetus for her becoming She-Hulk. What we didn't know, and what was announced at this thing, is that Tim Roth, last seen in the Hulk movie way back in 2008, when the MCU started. Iron Man was the first movie to come out, but Hulk, Incredible Hulk, came out a few weeks later, and Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., pops up in the Incredible Hulk movie. William Hurt's character, Thunderbolt Ross pops up in Civil War as well. So we knew there's still connections to that Hulk movie, even though Mark Ruffalo is playing the Hulk and not Edward Norton. But Tim Roth was cast in that movie as the bad guy, played the Abomination. Tim Roth has been cast in the She-Hulk movie to play the Abomination again. So he's going to be reprising his role as the movie, which is fantastic. There's Roos. This one's a bit more is still kind of rumored, but it's been substantiated because with Daredevil's rights reverting to Marvel again, Charlie Cox has been seen as potentially being involved in the She-Hulk show as well, playing Matt Murdock, reprising his role because he's a lawyer and Jennifer Walters is a lawyer. Now, the reason why that's interesting is because some other news that came out this week that was not part of this Disney stuff was Spider-Man 3 has been is underway filming, and we talked that Jamie Foxx is reprising his role as Electro. He played Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. So people are like, okay, that's kind of interesting that he did that. This week it was announced that Alfred Molina, who played Dr. Octopus in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, has been cast as Dr. Octopus in the new Spider-Man movie as well. And then all of a sudden it all started to snowball when people started seeing Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Kirsten Dunst, and Amy Adams. Not Amy Adams. What's her face? The redhead. I can't remember her name. Showing up on set as well. And they believe that the rumors that have been going around forever that they were going to do a sort of live-action Spider-Verse in this third Spider-Man movie with the announcement about Jamie Foxx and now Alfred Molina. And now all of a sudden they're seeing these actors who played the roles of Peter Parker, Mary Jane, Peter Parker, and Gwen Stacy. And the fact that you had the guy who played, I can't think of his name right now, J. Jonah Jameson and the Tobey Maguire ones popped up in the Spider-Man Homecoming as well. It's all kinds of stuff. And then Mysterio was introduced about, talking about different dimensions. So it all sort of mixed together, and it makes sense. We also know Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange is going to be in it as well. So we have all these rumors that Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, and goddamn, it's gonna drive me crazy. And Andrew Garfield and redhead, hot redhead, Amazing Spider-Man 2012 movie. Emma Stone, that's what it was. That's right. Emma Stone also popping up on set as well. Do that. And now they've also said that Charlie Cox might appear in that as well, which makes sense also because Spider-Man is in legal trouble right now, and it would make sense to have Daredevil and bring him back in because Charlie Cox was a really good Daredevil. So you have him in Spider-Man 3, you have him in the She-Hulk movie, you bring back Daredevil, voila, everything's good. That means you also bring in Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, which is absolutely perfect casting, and boom, you're set for life. Speaking of Benedict Cumberbatch, the Doctor Strange #2 is filming right now. They're bringing back Rachel McAdams, who played the love interest in the first one. She'll be back in the second one. And great gay, or I should say lesbian character, America Chavez, will be making an appearance in Doctor Strange 2 as well, as they believe that Scarlet Witch will be popping up in there too, but not Charlie Cox, not in this one. Ant-Man Wasp 3 Quantumania has been announced as well. All the cast are going to be returning, including Michelle Pfeiffer. She'll be back as Janet Van Dyne. You're going to get Paul Rudd. You're going to get Michael Douglas. And again, I'm so bad with names. The woman who got in trouble. Evangeline Lilly. So Evangeline Lilly, Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, and Michelle Pfeiffer are all due back in Quantumania, Ant-Man Wasp 3 Quantumania. We have already known that they have cast an actor to play Kang. So he will be showing up as well. Peyton Reed will be directing for the third time his Ant-Man and Wasp movies, which still might not be a popular opinion, but I love the Ant-Man Wasp series from Marvel movies, the MCU. I think they're a lot of fun, and I really like it, and I can't wait to see this one. So Kang is going to make an appearance, and they've recast Cassie Lang, because she's supposed to make a big role, important role with Young Avengers coming up, because she'll be playing a character who uses some of the Pym particles to grow as well and fight crime too. And that goes along lines with WandaVision, because supposedly her one son with Vision is supposed to be in that as well. So it looks like they're building a Young Avengers sort of thing. So that's a potential to see that. So Quantum Mania. So we've got that rolling up with Kang the Conqueror and the entire cast, including Michelle Pfeiffer, which would be great to see her doing more than she did in number 2. So it'd be good to see that. Thor: Love and Thunder is getting some love too. It is one of the only movie series, along with the Avengers, that is getting a 4th film. Iron Man didn't get a 4th film. Captain America hasn't gotten a 4th film. So Thor is. We all know everything's going on about that. Natalie Portman's coming back. She'll be playing the female Thor. Valkyrie is going to be back. Hemsworth is going to be back. It's directed by Taika Waititi again. Craig, all those guys are going to be back. Loki's supposed to make an appearance from the Loki show. He's going to be popping in there. But here's something interesting. People have been wondering what's been going on with Jamie Alexander, who played Sif. She was in the first 2 Thor movies and disappeared in the 3rd one, and they didn't know if she survived the culling of Asgard or the culling of Thanos or what's going on, where she's been. She popped up on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show for an episode, but that was really about it. She is now signed on to be in Thor: Lover as well, and she's also supposed to make an appearance in the Loki TV show as well, which is going to be, I think, a connective thread to not only Thor: Love and Thunder, but also Doctor Strange too, because I've heard that Loki's going to pop up in that as well, because it's Doctor Strange is about the different multiverses as well. So you'll probably see him working for the TVA doing stuff. So they know what they're doing. They've got all the stuff planned. So, but the other big news was that it was rumored that Christian Bale had been cast, but they didn't know what role he was going to play. So people have been postulating what role he's going to play. Well, at this event, they announced that Christian Bale will be playing the villain, Gore the Godbreaker, which was part of the redo of Thor, which made him fantastic, made the story fantastic. It's a great role, and to have Gore the Godbreaker show up is a great idea, great villain. Should make for a very entertaining movie, particularly with Taika behind the camera again. This movie's due out May 6th, 2022, so we got a couple more years to go, but it's coming up there soon. Another thing people wanted to know about was Black Panther 2. With Chadwick Boseman's untimely passing, they want to know what Marvel was planning on doing. They've had all kinds of rumors, blah, blah, blah. Right now, the only announcement that came out of this was that they will not be recasting nor replacing Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. Now, that still means that Shuri or someone else might still become Black Panther, but Black Panther to be focusing more on the people of Wakanda and all the stuff about that and what's going on there. So we will see what that means. But Ryan Coogler is coming back to direct it, and in his hands, I'm not too worried about it. It should be interesting. I'd like to see what they're doing. Before we get to the TV shows, which I haven't told you about yet, one more movie we got to talk about. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is officially on board to come out in 2023 due to the whole James Gunn getting fired. Then they decided we're going to rehire him, but he was too busy with Suicide Squad that he hadn't had a chance to get together. But the script is done. They're getting ready to do stuff like that, so they're going to start filming. But that is on schedule to hit 2023. However, the big news coming out of about Guardians of the Galaxy is this. 2 things about this, really. First, this is a Christmas sweater t-shirt with the Guardians of the Galaxy on it. James Gunn has announced that he will be doing a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. He says it's a story idea that he's had in his mind since he first wrote Guardians of the Galaxy and has been dying to do, but has never had the time to do it. And now he has the time to do it, and now he's going to be able to do it the way he wants to do it. It is a holiday special in the vein of the Star Wars Christmas. That's why I wore this instead. And the second reason why is there is going to be an I Am Groot show as well. But the show instead is going to be a number of animated shorts involving Baby Groot and Teenage Groot and stuff like that. So that is coming out soon. So now, what are the stuff like that? So that is coming out soon. So now, what are the new series that are? I'm starting to get all connectivity, so I might have to stop here. Actually, I think what I'll do is I will stop after I finish these new series. I'll stop, and I was going to stop about an hour in anyway, and I will run another episode after this. So my 2 viewers, hang on. Actually, you know what? Let's keep going until things get really, really bad, and then we'll shut down again if need be. So the new series that are coming out announced. First up is Armor Wars, an Armor Wars series starring Don Cheadle as Rhodey. Is making his appearance as a TV show based on a storyline that happened in the comics back, where Stark's armor got stolen and given to villains who've upgraded, the villains that he's fought who were robotic. They've upgraded their armor to these Iron Man armor things, and they go on a rampage, and Iron Man and War Machine have to stop him. Well, now it's just War Machine by himself, and that's the story itself could be real interesting because there's some really cool robotic bad guys like Titanium Man and stuff like that, which could be really cool if done properly. And basically, the first 2 Iron Mans basically were him fighting giant suits of armor anyway, so why not? There's a precedence for that. But the other interesting thing that someone was postulating that in the comics, the guy that stole the Iron Man armor and sold it to all these villains was none other than Justin Hammer, who made an appearance in Iron Man 2, played by Sam Rockwell, and he was fantastic in it. Rumor has it that he is going to make an appearance in the Armor Wars TV show, maybe be the main villain, and be a main part of the show. And Sam Rockwell has already said, I'm in it, dude. If you want me, come get me. So I'm assuming that they've just announced that maybe they've got some ideas down. So maybe they haven't decided yet, but Justin Hammer's all in. Sam Rockwell is all in to reprise his role as Justin Hammer. So he was fantastic. So that'll be good. Sticking in the Ironheart is going to be getting a series. Now, those who don't know, Ironheart is a young girl, maybe around 14, maybe around my daughter's age, 14 years old, named Riri, is hugely smart, and she builds her own Iron Man armor, and eventually Tony allows her to help him or do whatever stuff like that because he's impressed by her skill with the armor, stuff like that. So they have cast Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams. So there will be an Ironheart TV series focusing on a young person of color, which is fantastic. Again, it looks like Disney is going all out with Marvel, trying to do, be fair, character oriented, because Riri Williams was a young black female, and they cast a young black female. So that's a great idea. So that's coming up. Finally, the last Marvel series we're going to talk about right now that they had any news about was Secret Invasion. Now, we had talked that there was going to be a Nick Fury series, and Samuel Jackson was going to star in that, but we didn't know what was going to be. Well, now it is Secret Invasion. Samuel Jackson will be reprising his role as Nick Fury, as will Ben Mendelsohn, who played the Captain Marvel, who became friends with Nick Fury. They will be working together to try to solve the Secret Invasion storyline, which has a evil sect of Skrulls being Marvel superheroes and replacing them. And doing damage, stuff like that. So it's probably gonna be a similar story like that. So that should be good. So that's it for all the Marvel news that Disney have. I will drop the Star Wars stuff in a little bit. I've got a page and a half of other stuff I want to cover right now before we hit that stuff. So I will continue going because right now I'm having a little bit of connectivity issues, but nothing major. If I start getting heavy again, I think I'll have enough to do a whole another episode, but I'm going to keep going and hopefully I can keep it all into one episode. So moving on, dragon-like reptile fossil has been discovered that is 237 billion years old. I'm sorry, 237 million years old. 237 million years old. So a reptile that appears to be dragon-like. Could be, if a bunch survived into ancient China, could be the reason why the Chinese have so many drawings of dragon. Dragons are a made part of, you know, history and stuff like that. But that's not the only dragon thing as well. Come on, I gotta find this. An unknown species of beaked whale as big as a horse has been discovered living in the ocean. That's not what I wanted to cover, but that is something interesting. There's a new species of whale that's beak-nosed, has been discovered in the ocean. So that's kind of interesting. The other thing I want to talk about, there was another dragon-looking whale thing. Let me just see if I can find that article, because it would make sense to cover it with this one. But I do not see it on here. So, but there is no, but we'll cover that in a little bit. As I said, my daughter loves anime, and there's a couple of different places you get it, Funimation and Crunchyroll and stuff like that. Well, Crunchyroll has been bought by Funimation, who's owned by Sony. So we are now going to have a massively big anime company, which is good, and we're going to see how that works out. So you can't do better than that. McDonald's is serving up a cheese bowl to dip everything in. Dip your remnants of your hamburger, your French fries, whatever you want. You can dip it into this bowl of hot cheese now. Dogman, the animated or the graphic novels that a lot of young kids, my son has read a bunch of Dogman things as well. A Dogman movie will be coming based on the books from make a run again. They've disappeared off of the map for a while, but they're starting to make a run back in films, so that's a good thing to see them back. Last week I talked to you about the HBO Max WB merger. There's been a few other stories about that as well. The first one is the DGA is demanding a meeting with Warner Brothers over the 2021 HBO Max issue. They're going to discuss their grievances with them and try to come to a decision to say, yeah, we don't want this to happen, so fix it for us. There is new sea dragon species discovered by amateur fossil hunters. So there was a dragon species on land and one in water as well. So I just happened to see that. I thought you would be interested to see that as well. Anything else here? There's one other story about, Chris Nolan is dumping on the WB HBO Max deal. He thinks it's a bad deal, and he's pushing his beliefs and trying to get people to see his viewpoint and see how bad it is. So he's angry about that as well. So he's letting people know that he's angry about it, which is great. So that's to be continued. Robert Rodriguez, who's a fellow June 20th birthday boy and a really good director, he's got a movie coming out Christmas Day. His next film is a female-led Zorro remake. And I think in his hands, a female lead Zorro could actually be pretty interesting, and it'd be fun to see how they're going to do that. This week, there was a massive solar flare that came towards the Earth. So scientists are saying be prepared for some outages in your phone and stuff like that. Nothing major. It was a big solar flare. But one bonus is that the Aurora Borealis, which is confined to the north, might seep its way down as far south as my area. Well, everybody's saying it could happen, over this 2-day period. Just go outside, take a look. Well, once the storm got here, they're like, it wasn't as bad as we thought it was. So we're going to say, you're probably not going to see it as far south as Maryland, but you may see it as farther south as Massachusetts. So I don't know if they did or not, but that's good. Auroras are on my bucket list as one of the things that I'm dying to see in person. I've seen videos, I've seen actual, film of it, but I want to sit under the auroras. Actually, there's a really neat, hotel that has a glass top, where you can be in this little hotel room that that has everything you need: bed, bathroom, dressing area, stuff like that. And it just has a glass ceiling that is up in like the Norwegian countries that, at night you can see the aurora borealis while you have sex or sleep or whatever. So, and I think it'd be romantic to have sex under the aurora borealis, but it's just me. Apparently there's an ice cream company that says if you get crappy gifts, you can send them to us and we will send you free ice cream. I don't know what the name of the ice cream company is, but I guess if you do some searching, you can probably find it for yourself. But yes, definitely there is something you can find there. Nicolas Cage is going to become very relevant very quickly. He is doing a history of curse words for Netflix. It's a 6-episode series where they take one curse word and they discuss the history of it, and they'll probably do some others as well. That sounds like an extraordinarily great idea and is going to be probably one of the highest watched TV shows on Netflix. I will guarantee you that. Speaking of Netflix, Cobra Kai, who has moved from YouTube to Netflix, has released their season 3 trailer. You get some view of Danny and main character. I can't remember his name either. I know it's William Zabka. Johnny, that's what it is. Johnny and Danny having to work together. You see Danny returning to Japan, where he runs into his old love there and learns a little bit about Miyagi. And Johnny helping the student whose back might not be able to walk again, trying to help him to walk again. And Danny and Johnny working together to try to take down Creed, whatever. I can't remember his name. But that should be really good. Very, very cool to see that. Hey, here's a reason for you to wear your mask. Scientists say that you should wear a mask or your dick won't work, basically meaning that one of the things that happen once you contract COVID and get rid of it, one of the after effects is that men have bad erectile dysfunction. So, if you don't want to erectile dysfunction, wear your goddamn mask so you can get it up next time you want to screw. This week there was the Video Game Awards, and there was a bunch of news announced there. One of them was The Evil Dead. The Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi stuff will be getting its own video game, which looks really, really cool. They released a trailer of that. Looks kind of cool about that. Fortnite is in the middle of their new season. It's about bounty hunting and hunters, stuff like that. And they've been bringing in new hunters. As I said last week was the character from God of War made his appearance as well. Well, at this Video Game Awards show, they announced that Master Chief from Halo, you'll be able to get a skin there. And it has already been put into the item shop, and you can pick that up now. People have already bought it and have been using it. So Master Chief is up there. And they also announced that on the 16th of December, they'll be releasing a Daryl and Michonne skins from The Walking Dead to join the hunting storyline as well. So that'll be good. I'm not Master Chief looks cool, but I don't know if I end up really getting him. Maybe if I get some V-Bucks for Christmas and I have some V-Bucks to spend, but I'm not going to go out of my way to buy it. The Daryl and Michonne one might be one that I might consider also, though. It's one of those I might think about. The one that is rumored to possibly show up eventually this season will be the Predator. And if we do that one, I'm definitely getting that one because it looks awesome so far. So we don't know for sure, but that's coming soon. Pokemon Go, I reported all the stuff that happened with them. They're continuing stuff. Community Day is this weekend, and their December community days are basically all the Community Day Pokemon from this year are now available to pick up. Well, they decide since it's COVID related, they also put in last year's as well. So they've divided over 2 days and stuff like that. There's also doing a Chill Tunes event, which is going to start next week, which is going to portend the arrival of Galarian, Mr. Mime, who you can evolve into Mr. Rhyme, who is the tap, tap, tap on the window Pokemon. So kind of a creepy thing. So that's going to be cool to see that. They also announced, Pokemon Go announced that on February 20th, 2021, buy a ticket, and the whole day you'll be able to catch all 150 Gen 1 Pokemon. And now what they're going to do is, when the original Pokemon came out, they separated Gen 1 into red and green. So certain characters were in red, certain ones were in green. They're going to do that for this one. So, you will pick which color you want to be, red or green. So if you have multiple people in your house to play it, like ours, like Dawn will be red and I be green, or I'll be red and Dawn will be green. And we'll catch all the Pokemon, because they'll cut it down to half. So it's like 75 Pokemon. So we'll catch those 75. And then she'll catch 75, multiple ones of each one, and then we'll trade them to each other so we can get all 150. Now, that also means all their shinies will be available. There have also been about 3 or 4 of the Gen 1s who have not had shinies released. They will be released this week. All the legendaries from Gen 1, including Mewtwo, will be released out in this time, and you'll be able to catch them as well. And you'll be doing research to catch a shiny Mew, which is something that I'm trying to get also. Now, people are trying to speculate Ditto is a Gen 1 as well, and he pops up periodically when you catch Pokemon and it turns into Ditto. We don't know how they're going to release the shiny and do it that way. So I'm sure there'll be something to do. They have until February 20th to figure that out. But that's a neat little event that's coming up February 20th, 2021 for $11.99. You'll be able to buy a ticket to the event. It'll be similar to the Pokemon Go Fest that happened earlier this year. So looking forward to that. Should be interesting as well. Netflix will be also doing a Sonic the Hedgehog TV show now. They've already started working on that, so that's going to be good. Netflix is also doing a limited series starring Kevin Hart and Wesley Snipes called True Story, which is based on Kevin Hart's life and his relationship with his brother, who will be played by Wesley Snipes. So that'll be an interesting thing to look at that. Brian K. Vaughan is going to write a Buck Rogers TV series. I don't know if that's for Netflix or Hulu or whatever, but Brian K. Vaughan is one of those good writers that you would love to see do stuff like that. Matt Smith will be, who played Doctor Who, will be playing a Mad Targaryen prince in the Game of prequel that HBO is starting to film now, so he'll be doing that as well. This is available on Netflix or other things, but Shadow in the Cloud this week with Chloe Moretz, whatever her name is. She plays a World War I special ops soldier, but she's a woman, so the airmen don't like her or trust her because she's a woman, but she is brought on board an airplane, World War I airplane, ostensibly to help, fix something on board while they're in midair, but it's highly secret. What we discover is that she's actually a gremlin fighter, and that gremlins are real because gremlins were in World War I, little creatures that would tear up the equipment, stuff like that. Not the gremlins you see in the movie Gremlins, but these are actual things that people believe. And so this plane that she's on has a gremlin issue, and she has to take on this gremlin in midair. So it looks kind of cheesy, interesting. We'll have to check it out on that end. A tiny possum species has been found alive on a fire-hit Australian island, so it's always fun to find new species of animals. Humpback whales were filmed and spotted by the Statue of Liberty in New York. So that's kind of interesting to see that. Human-made materials such as houses, buildings, cars, etc., now equal the weight of all life on Earth. So if you count all life on Earth, people, animals, fish, whales, sharks, polar bears, everything, human-made materials now weigh as much as all life on Earth. That just is kind of a interesting, fascinating sort of thing. Ellen DeGeneres has the COVID, so we wish her a healthy return. Scream and Ready or Not director are going to do a reunion horror film. The Ready or Not film did really, really well because it's a Blumhouse. This is also Blumhouse, and they also are the ones who did the new Scream movie. It's getting good buzz so far. It won't be out till 2022 anyway, but still be out there. But they're now doing a movie about class reunion, so that'll be interesting. Local news, the first big snowfall in probably 2 years is due to hit the Baltimore area on Wednesday. It's still a little too early to tell, but right now there's an 80% chance of snow on Wednesday here in Reisterstown. Let's see if you can see it. There it is. So we'll see if that actually is a thing and becomes a thing. So we'll see. We'll see if it's big or not. So not well. Been seeing here in different. So we could get. I mean, they're talking about it could be a big one. It could be like 8 to 10 inches. Excuse me. So we'll find out what happens. We'll find out by next week's show. Dylan knows. I'll tell you that much. Magazine announced their Persons of the Year, and so you expected Joe Biden and Kamala Harris winning the 2020 election and having to go through that madman's insanity and keeping a happy face going on to it. They have been named People of the Year, so congratulations to them. Man accidentally buys a 35-foot tall Grinch inflatable, which is bigger than his house. I wish I accidentally would have bought that too, because that sounds awesome. So as I talked to you before, we had the new Kit Kat. We have a new Oreo called the Brookio, and it has 3 creams mixed together. It includes a brownie cream, the regular original Oreo cream, and a cookie dough cream. So they'll all be mixed together, and you'll be able to get this concoction very soon. I will keep an eye out at my local grocery store. They tend to get the new Oreos when they get announced. I'm interested to try the gingerbread ones. They could be interesting, so we'll find out. They should be out by now, so I've went to the grocery store. I'll probably be able to see them. So we'll see about that. Dunkaroo cereal is coming, as is Cinnamon Roll Mini Wheat cereal. So if you're a cereal eater, some more are added to your screen. There are reports coming out that claim that Disney, again, adds to the Disney Explodes story in the episode, not just the information I've given you, but reports claim that Disney is digitally adding masks to people's faces on rides. You know how you get, when you do the rides, you get those pictures taken of you and you can go buy them for your memories or whatever. And when you get off, well, apparently what's going to happen is you have to wear masks to be in Disney, but there apparently are people who are skirting the issue, and Disney doesn't want to get any issue with people who said, well, why do they get to not wear their masks and we have to wear ours? So what they're doing is, so they might not have seen the people come on without their masks, but they would see it in the picture. So if there was someone in a picture, mask on, and everybody else had masks on, the rumor is that Disney is digitally adding a mask, so it looks like everybody is wearing masks and following protocol. It's all rumor and hearsay. We'll see what happens. So last week I started talking to you about the strange monoliths that have been popping up and how it's very much like the evil clowns in 2016. Well, guess what? More and more keep popping up. So here are a number of the ones that popped up this week. The best one is what they're calling now the greatest one. Colombia had one of these monoliths pop up. Instead of it being silver, it was gold. So we have that one. Australia has one that came up that was put up overnight that has cryptic coordinates on it. So they don't know what that's about. So you have that one. The UK has one that had not Banksy, as I talked about Banksy earlier in the show, written on it as well. So you have that one. The Isle of Wight, which is also a part of the Irish UK area, had one pop up on their beach as well. Holland has one that popped up. At Atascadero, California had one. Joshua Tree, which I've been to a couple times, including on my honeymoon with my wife, they had one popped up. San Luis Obispo has one popped up, and another one up in Utah as well. So we're still getting a lot more of these monoliths rolling through here. So I don't know what's actually going on with them. So to be continued, we'll find out there's more. All right, part 2 of our Disney talk, where this one could be very well be a 2-hour episode. So we've got a lot of Disney information here. So we're going to roll through this real quick. First up, the Star Wars coming on Christmas Day 2021. So there's connection unstable. Seriously, it's going to start now. So I think I'm going to probably stop right here. So I'll go back and redo this later. So, well, that was just one little quick one. Let's see if it pops up again. I'm going to continue on then. The Bad Batch, I've talked about that as well. That's the newest Clone Wars cartoon. The Bad Batch is going to be focusing on the clone troopers that don't follow protocol. They're going to get their own series. They had a trailer for that pop up in this meeting as well. An Andor series trailer popped up. I told you last week about this is the character that was in Rogue One. He has his own series. Well, with first trailer popped up for that, it is being filmed right now. So that's going to be due out probably sometime in early 2021, probably spring as well. Droid Story is an animated series is going to be coming up. I don't know. They didn't really reveal much except for the title, and they didn't really talk about it too much, but it's an animated series. As is Visions is going to be an animated series with different people's takes on Star Wars characters and situations, stuff like that. So that could be interesting as well. As everyone expected, an Ahsoka live action series is going to be going forward. We believe the episode she popped up on The Mandalorian was a backdoor pilot for it. So it would be her going after Thrawn. So that's going to be rolling through there. And people are supposedly saying that this week's episode, which I haven't seen yet, could be a backdoor pilot for Rangers of the New Republic, which is also set during the Mandalorian time and could focus on Gina Carano's character as well as Bill Burr's character who pops up in this week's episode as well. Could be a backdoor as well. So that one has been announced. So Rangers of the New Republic set during the Mandalorian time has also been set. So Ahsoka and this Rangers of the New Republic are set during the Mandalorian timeline. Acolyte, which is a mystery set in the final days of the High Republic. I guess that's when the Jedis were still in charge, I guess before what happened with the Sith and stuff like that. Murder mystery sort of thing is going to pop up. TV series is going to roll through there. That's kind of cool. Obi-Wan got some information. He starts filming in January, and we learned that Hayden Christensen will be reprising his role as Anakin Skywalker, but this time he'll be playing Darth Vader. The series takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. So we got that going on. A Lando limited miniseries will be coming out. It'll just be a story, limited series, 8 episodes, something like that, is due out. We don't know which Lando it will be. New one, the one Andor, Rangers of the New Republic are supposed to. We also have a new Star Wars movie announced. This one directed by Patty Jenkins, who is the Wonder Woman director. She'll be making a Rogue Squadron movie. Rogue Squadron is about Wedge Antilles and his crew of Maverick pilots who are the best pilots in the Rebel Army. Rogue Squadron has gotten comics, their own books and stuff like that. Well, we're going to start seeing some of that stuff come to life, so that'd be really, really cool as well to see that. Other Lucasfilm-related stories also announced during Disney Plus because Disney owns the rights to Willow. We've already known that Willow was going to become a TV series. They just announced, yeah, it's coming. It'll be out 2022. They revealed some casting, but nothing really majorly exciting. They cast a young actress. Don't know who it is, and I didn't write it down. It wasn't part of this event. It had already been announced earlier. And Indiana Jones 5 is definitely coming. It is going to be Harrison Ford's Logan, that sort of thing, like his final hurrah as Indiana Jones. Now, what they should do is they should put him in the eye patch and beard that they had him in Young Indiana Jones Chronicles when he was in that one episode. So I think that'd be kind of cool to see that. So that's all your Star Wars stuff. Now, before we get to Disney stuff, there's a few more things I want to talk about here. They also own FX and Hulu. Well, FX and Hulu announced an Alien TV show based on the Alien movies. Ridley Scott is going to be involved, as is Noah Hawley. And a Alien comic series will be coming tomorrow because they now own the rights to that. So Alien is going to get sort of a renaissance. Disney, the Kingsman, right now they're being, I'll talk about the vaccine in a second, but they're being optimistic that they'll be up and running and we'll have people wanting to go out to movie theaters in March. Has been moved to March 12th, 2021. I think that's not going to stick. I think they're going to move that into the summer, early summer, possibly late April, but we'll see. Free Guy, Ryan Reynolds, one where he plays an NPC who discovers he's an NPC and decides to help out the hero when he shouldn't, has been moved to Prime, summer location of May 21st, 2021. and Death on the Nile, the Kenneth Branagh, I believe, Oscar bait sort of film based on the Agatha Christie novel, is now due out on September 17th, 2021, which makes a lot of sense. Field just the title for Disney's Percy Jackson and the Olympians. That one's not due out. We'll get more information about that probably next year. That probably not due out till 2022, but they're working on the script right now, and they are going to. And the Rick Riordan and his wife are totally hands-on involved, so it's going to be a very true to life adaptation of the series. So they just had a little of that as well. So that came in as well. Tom Hanks has been cast as Geppetto in Robert Zemeckis' live action version of Pinocchio. So Tom Hanks will be reteaming for Zemeckis again. And whenever they get together, it's always a good thing. They made a little movie called Castaway, and they made a little movie by the name of, what was it? What is that called? Oh, yeah, Forrest Gump, which won Best Picture. And Castaway was nominated, and Tom Hanks was nominated, stuff like that. So Robert Zemeckis and Tom Hanks together and they also did Polar Express together as well. So they have a relationship that's going on. So let's talk about some of the Disney stuff that's got coming on. They're doing a Disney Plus live action animated Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, I think either series or movie. I'm not 100% certain, but John Mulaney and Andy Samberg will be the voices of Chip 'n Dale. That should be really clever. Sister Act 3 and Hocus Pocus 2 have both been affirmed and are definitely happening. They might be direct to Disney Plus remakes, but films, but they are being made. Same with the Mighty Duck remake is also on its way to Disney Plus as well. Amy Adams has signed on for an Enchanted sequel. Enchanted was a movie that came out, almost 12 years ago, I think. They're finally getting a sequel with that. That's going to be, I think, direct to Disney Plus. We're going to find out more about that, but that was announced this week as well. The live action was named this week. Halle Bailey will play Ariel. David Dieppe will be playing Sebastian. Javier Bardem, King Triton. Jacob Trunley will play Flounder. Melissa McCarthy's playing Ursula. Jonah something will be playing Prince Eric, and Aquafina will be playing Scuttle. So that's coming up too. Pixar's got a couple things out. First up, Pixar will be doing a Buzz Lightyear prequel, which will introduce the true person who was the basis for the Buzz Lightyear action figure, and he's going to be voiced by Captain America himself, Chris Evans. So Chris Evans will be doing a voice for a Pixar movie, basically the prequel to Toy Story. Turning Red, which is a really interesting sounding Pixar film about a girl who turns into a red panda whenever she gets embarrassed. Sounds very Hayao Miyazaki-esque, so it could be really good. That's going to be done by Pixar. Disney Plus has got a number of animated TV shows, including a Tiana series, which to me personally, she was in The Princess and the Frog. I think instead of reverting her back to the frog and doing that sort of thing, Tiana ended up owning her own New Orleans restaurant. I think it would be a unique and great take to have an animated series featuring Tiana and her prince running their New Orleans restaurant, and that's what the story is them running the restaurant, not having outlandish adventures, but them doing like a drama, like a regular TV show about a family that owns a restaurant, but it's an animated character from Big Hero 6. That's what it is. Is going to be getting his own TV show in 2022, as is Zootopia is going to be getting, instead of a sequel movie, will be getting a sequel TV show, which makes actually sense because Zootopia is not about, the movie was about, the rabbit, cop, and the fox, but Zootopia was such a fully fleshed and fully formed town that you can make a series about what's going on in the town as well. Again, that's what I would do. Same with the Tiana running the New Orleans restaurant and not really getting involved in like princess stuff. Moana, I don't know what they got planned for that. Could really go either way. Baymax, I don't know where that's going to go, but that can go either way as well. Lin-Manuel Miranda, who's the writer of Hamilton, is writing music for one of Disney's new animated films, Encanto. I think that's due out in 2022 as well. Disney Animation has also signed a deal with an Pan-African entertainment group, Kugali, and they'll be doing a show called Iwaju. So it'll be an African stylized animated series with a Disney touch to it, coming to Disney Plus in 2022. That could be really fascinating. So Disney's really going all in the people of color and helping, stuff like that. So we got all that. So that's all the Disney information that I have that I can recall. If anything else pops up, I will let you know in the upcoming weeks. So all kinds of big stuff. That's what's making this episode be one of my longest ones in a while. So we've got about a page and a quarter left. So we'll roll through this. We got 14 minutes. I'm going to try to end this in about 2 hours. So here we go. A high school opened a grocery store for struggling families. In order to pay for it, they have to do good deeds, which sounds pretty cool. It could be anything like picking up trash or helping somebody or whatever. And that's how you pay for your food. I think that's a really great idea. If you don't have the money, do something nice for somebody and you get the food. That sounds really cool. The reboots continue on HBO. True Blood, the Gothic Southern horror sex show, is getting a reboot for HBO. Don't know why. Don't care why. Didn't watch it originally. Don't know why they would do it again. An Israeli president of an Israeli space department did a directorate talking about a galactic federation with Earth and aliens. Now, this is an official government paper. NASA has, as I said, revealed some strange UFOs that they can't explain, but they sort of stepped away from the Galactic Federation stuff. But is there a Galactic Federation? We'll never know. Well, we'll know sometime maybe. But right now, that's a potential thing that could come up really soon if this is in fact a true story. Charlize Theron, I guess, was perusing Twitter one day and saw someone make a interesting tweet about the whole Die Hard a Christmas story sort of thing. And this person said, what I would love to see is a Die Hard remake, but about a lesbian who has to save her wife from terrorists. Charlize Theron saw that and she's like, ooh. So she texted this person back, or tweeted this person back, and says, I'm all in. So Charlize Theron wants to star in a lesbian remake of Die Hard. Get it done. Do it. Maybe we'll have a lesbian sex scene. No, it's just Charlize Theron's a great action star, and I think it would be interesting to see that, and I think it'd be kind of a cool movie to check out, not because of the lesbian sex scene. Mount Everest got a smidge taller after China and Nepal agree on its height. It is now officially 29,032 feet. They had a disagreement about how high it was, and now they both had somebody come out and measure it, and both came up with the same thing and said, okay, we'll go with that. I think I mentioned this before, and I'm just going to reiterate again because I've been screaming about this for years. Scientists say that ET extraterrestrial hunts should not be limited to Earth-like life. It should be to different life, because life will find a way to adapt to stuff. And I've been screaming that for years. Back when I even did a supernatural show with Larissa, I was screaming my head off. It's like, scientists need to just stop looking for Earth-like planets and just start looking for life. They might find it. I mentioned last week there was a creature on our planet that does not breathe oxygen. So I would bet you $1 million that there's probably life out there that does not breathe oxygen. Look for that life. Look for it anywhere. That's the other one. Legendary, which is the producer of the Dune movie that is now going to be released simultaneously in movie theaters and on HBO Max, is angry and upset with the Warner Brothers doing their HBO Max deal. So they are considering a lawsuit against them. That's to be played out eventually. Woman walks past a full-size nativity scene outside a church where the manger is usually empty until Christmas morning. But when she walked by that one time, she noticed that there was something inside the manger, and it was a dog was sleeping in baby Jesus's crib. You know how when you're driving out there and people have those massively bright headlights that just blow your eyes out of their sockets? Well, people who are upset about that have decided that they're going to put horror stickers that glow in the dark on the back of their car. So when these people are driving and their big bright headlights hit those glow in the dark stickers, they're going to pop and make it look like that there are these creatures coming for them. It's dangerous, but it's also kind of funny. A monster goldfish was found in a South Carolina lake. Apparently someone probably didn't want their goldfish anymore. Instead of flushing it down the toilet or whatever, they threw it into a lake, and it grew to be a massive size. This picture went from this size to about this big. So it looks like a massive fish. So that's kind of interesting. KFC is bringing back the logs that you can light on fire that smell like chicken. I think that's a great idea. They're also teaming up with Lifetime for a mini movie about 15 minutes long, a romantic film about Colonel Sanders, starring Mario Lopez. That's crazy. Last week, the Washington football team, who was playing real rough for a while, but went up against the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. And guess what? The Pittsburgh Steelers are no longer undefeated. The Washington football team defeated them 29-17. Tomorrow, Pittsburgh goes up against a Bills team that's basically unstoppable. I think the Steelers are going to lose that game as well. So we'll see what happens. Mountain Dew hot sauce, for those who like Mountain Dew and like hot sauce. Well, now you get Mountain Dew hot sauce. Someone created a 20,000 square foot, I guess, backyard office in a box. So basically, if you want to work from home, instead of having to deal with multiple people in your house all doing all this stuff, create a massive 20,000 square foot office in your backyard. It's lit up. It has full glass, so you can see everything that's in your backyard. You have connections, phone, computer, all this stuff by everyone else in the house, but people can come get you if they need you for whatever reasons and be able to find you. I think that's a neat idea, and it should be done. Hey, Christmas is coming, but you know what else is coming? New Year's is coming. Literally 3 weeks from now will be New Year's. It would be January 2nd, actually. New Year's Day is going to be on a Friday. Never mind. So it's literally going to be the New Year in 3 weeks. But before then, you have to go through New Year's. Now, with COVID, a lot of New Year's Eve parties probably still happen because people are morons, but it probably shouldn't happen. But, if you want to enjoy a stay-at-home New Year's Eve party, Jelly Belly has created champagne-flavored jelly beans, and they are now stocking them in champagne bottles. So you can have champagne jelly beans for your New Year's Eve bashes. Cole Beasley of the Buffalo Bills is now the all-time touchdown leader for players 5'8" or smaller. I just found that a fascinating stat, and I just wanted to announce it. Cat becomes a wet nurse to 8 baby hedgehogs. It's always amazing when other animals decide to help other abandoned babies or whatever and keep them alive. Everyone out there knows how much I love Reese's peanut butter cups, and they get some new stuff periodically here and there. I'm looking for the big cup that has potato chips in. I'm dying to see that. But now they have a new one that I'm dying to see. There's now going to be releasing Reese's peanut butter cups that will be topped with a marshmallow layer. And I think that's going to be outrageously amazing, because one of my favorite things when I was a kid was a Fluffernutter sandwich, which is peanut butter and marshmallow fluff. So basically you're going to get the peanut butter and the marshmallow fluff together for a Fluffernutter, and then you're going to have that chocolate to come in and just because it a little bit. So that'll be good. So I'm looking for that, and I will let you know if I find it. Wait a second. Did I already? Oh, no, that's the woman who sold the house. Okay. Mall Santa goes viral after telling a child who wanted a Nerf gun that Santa will not bring guns to kids. Okay. I understand, gun attitude, stuff like that, but Nerf guns are Nerf guns. Granted, there was a young boy who was killed playing with a Nerf gun in his backyard, which is ridiculous. But the fact to tell your kid, no, you're not going to get any guns, is like saying, Ralph, you'll shoot your eye out. It's not right, and I'm still on the edge. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of that. Well, Silence of the Lambs was a huge hit in 1991. Had a couple of sequels, Hannibal, and I forget the other one right now. And then they did the Hannibal TV show for NBC. When I was a TV show, based on the character from Silence of the Lambs played by Jodie Foster. She'll be getting her own TV show on CBS Online. So good on that. An 80-year-old woman still got it when she was at, staring out her kitchen window while she was doing the dishes, saw a beautiful, like 6-point buck come into her yard, went and grabbed her rifle, opened a window, shot and killed the buck. She's a hunter through and through, 80-year-old woman. This week we had a couple of anniversaries, one good, one bad. The good one was Edward Scissorhands, the Tim Burton great film with Johnny Depp, Winona Ryder, Anthony Michael Hall, and Alan Arkin and more. It's 30 years old this week. Came out in 1990. Still to this day, I will scream and yell that it was Danny Elfman's greatest score he's ever done. The Edward Scissorhands score is one of the most amazing, breathtaking, outstanding scores you ever heard. If you've never heard any of it, go to YouTube, play any of the discs, the versions of it. Type in just Edward Scissorhands, score, and just play any of the tracks, and you'll absolutely love it. The sad, 40 years ago, 1980, this week, John Lennon was shot, killed by Mark David Chapman, or Paul Chapman, whatever, because this guy thought he was reading Catcher in the Rye and thought that the Beatles were selling out, and John Lennon was selling out, and he shouldn't sell out, so he killed him in front of his kid too. And it was announced on Monday Night Football by Howard Cosell in a clip you can find on YouTube as well. So that's great. So the final story for this, there's two. Well, the Ball State Western Michigan college football ending was out as amazing. It's one of those endings that you see all the time where it's your last stand, you're losing points, and you've got 0 time on the clock. So you do all the continuous back passes while people are trying to figure a way to break around the touchdown to win. So they're doing all that, and they're keeping the ball in motion, and they're keeping it away from Ball State. And eventually it looks like Ball State had them tackled and down. So the Ball State players come running off on the sidelines, thinking the game's over, cheering excited they finally won. The problem is the Western Michigan guy had not gone down and was still out there. So he has to not only go away from the players that are out there, but now the players that have run out onto the field are trying to stop him, which is illegal anyway. And so eventually the guy's able to break through and he scores a touchdown, and West Michigan wins the game. I believe I'll have to double check and see if there were some flags. I don't know if the flags were called it back. Finally, I've been teasing this all show. The FDA has approved the Pfizer COVID vaccine, so that will be starting to get distributed out and about very soon. Now, the problem is our wonderful president did not order enough for everybody. Even when Pfizer said, hey, you want some more? He's like, fuck no, fuck them, I don't care. So we only have a certain amount. Now they're going to give it till we get the new shipment in. It's on back order right now. So the elderly and people who have, issues will get it first. England, meanwhile, UK, they did it right. So they have a bunch of, they started vaccinating now. And one of the people they vaccinated was a gentleman by the name of William Shakespeare. An actual guy whose name was William Shakespeare became one of the first people vaccinated with these COVID-19 vaccines. So we have a vaccine. It's coming. It's just going to take a little bit longer than expected. Plus, we got a bunch of other ones coming out soon. So we'll see what happens. Wear your damn mask. Be safe. Christmas coming soon. Happy birthday, Noel Bear. I'm going to try to end this right before the 2-hour mark. And thank you for listening. And I had no connectivity problems, some slight ones, but nothing major. I'm going to end this stream right about now. Bye.